Before Irida rotates and Garchomp becomes significantly less good because of it, I really wanted to try him out. But honestly, I think Prismatic gives him two decentish tools that help him stay in the game. The first being that there is the Budew. Budew's just really good at a lot of these like slow evolution decks, as long as you're planning around it, which is why we include a 1-1 line for the middle stage, and we only have 3 rare candies because we're not super reliant on it. The other thing that I think makes Garchomp really good and gives him a niche again is Regigigas. There's a lot of decks in the game that would love to use Regigigas, but his 4 energy cost is a little bit too extreme for him. Lugia can slot it in just fine, but Chiampao, kind of doesn't want to run it, only because they already do the whole scaling damage thing. But in Garchomp, this gives you a way to hit numbers that you wouldn't normally be able to hit before. You never really had access to a great attacker that was able to hit the thresholds, such as 330 or 320, without having to use something a little bit janky like Lucario from Brilliant Stars. So ultimately, I think that this deck has gotten, just its last push for viability. I don't think it'll necessarily be good, but if you go into decks like Flareon, for example, Garchomp can hit that for super effective weakness. Greninja still has a phenomenal typing. It'll hit stuff like Miraidon and Terapagos for weakness. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, make sure to like, comment down below, and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy the games. Alrighty, you guys started the first game here. I believe this is against an EV Box type of deck. And, I thought that more people were experimenting with this deck, because I think that the deck is really cool and it has a lot of directions it could go in. But, unfortunately, we're starting Lumineon, which isn't the greatest. I can still make use of our Steel Cell later, so it's not, completely dead, but obviously, you're not happy to see the Lumineon here. And my hand isn't, super phenomenal at the moment. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of here. And, honestly, the 2 mulligan draws don't help me immediately. I like having the Rare Candy in my hand, but that could be disrupted by an Iono, for example, but less. That said, my opponent is going first because I've chosen to go second, which I think is good because it means there's not a chance for them to hit the turn 1 attack. If they hit the turn 1 attack of me, then I might be cooked, but we'd have to see, right? But also, one thing that's not bad about the Lumineon start here is that he either has to overcommit to knock it out with a Jolteon, or with a, what's his name? Or with Carnelian on Flareon. And that's just not great for them. So, more than likely, this Lumineon probably either lives, and I, don't lose prizes, which is nice, or we, lose it, but the opponent is instantly far behind. I don't know why the opponent is emoting here. I think they're just salty or just being like, what the hell is this? Anyways. I end up going ahead and using Irida to grab the Garchomp. Typically, I wouldn't grab something that I would need next turn, but I'm kind of already seeing the line, and I don't think my opponent is going to Iono drop me. I think if anything, they'll probably play an Arven or Professor Research here instead. But more likely, I think it's going to be Arven to guarantee the setup here. And I'm grabbing the Garchomp because the way I see myself winning the game is by evolving this Garchomp that I have in my hand, and so I'd rather just take that risk. Not saying that Froakie can kind of suck, because Jolteon can come in later and one-shot me, because I am now Water type, but I decided I'd rather focus on making sure I have my Garchomp out, because I do believe that Regigigas will probably play a part in this game, though you could argue that maybe you should just go 1 Gible and 1 Froakie, and just be fine. Poe goes ahead and Burning Charges, just as I predict. If I was in my opponent's shoes, I would also be doing the same thing, because I wouldn't want to forfeit the opportunity to essentially, I want to forfeit the opportunity to actually get my energies out and play, because if I attack and I lose this mob, then I'm so far behind. And depending on the build, if they don't have Glass Trumpets, then it'd be rough. I will say, I definitely don't think I should attach that Water Energy to my Garchomp. I kind of don't know what I was thinking. I should have saved it in my hand just for another Greninja draw, but mistakes are mistakes. I also think about grabbing the Froakie instead off that Nest Ball, but I'm just I'm kind of in a bad spot here. I have to grab the Tera Crystal for that. I definitely, like I said, should have saved that energy in my hand and used it to draw 2 more cards and possibly see if that got me a little bit further. There's also, a possible chance that I should have Ultra Ball here, but I'm thinking, I might want to Iono out of this hand because it's not good. And I don't want to and I don't want to lose my boss, because my boss could also be good for driving up certain targets that, would get me some value. Like that Flareon. I don't know why my opponent put that Flareon, but it'd be really good if I did, if I could boss it up and kill it. So, you know, that's the whole reason why I did Ultra Ball, is that there's just like nothing that I could have reasonably grabbed that I wanted. Here, I'm going to send the Gabite in, and I have the Forest Seal, so which is actually good. And I'm thinking about like what to grab here. I kind of know that my prize line has to be knocking out this Flareon, so unfortunately I can't use Irida to grab, you know, what's it called, Garchomp and Earthen Vessel. So I just have to grab the Earthen Vessel here. And I have the Ultra Ball in my hand, so I'm not like too worried about like, oh, well, I can't get perfectly set up now. And I have just like an extra energy in my discard, which I think is good because I'm holding on to the Crispin now, and this is going to look really good for me. Because now I can just Crispin attach to Regigigas and knock out any attacker he sends up. I do leave the Jolteon unprovoked, but I think that's a little bit intentional. Only because like I kind of want my opponent to try and knock me out here. I don't know why they sent the Rotom first though. That part confuses me a little bit. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, because he definitely wants energies on the bench with the Eevee, right? Opponent goes ahead, grabs an energy switch too. And now I'm just like a little bit even more confused. I'm trying to figure out like what my opponent is attempting to do here. Yeah, I don't know. But regardless, like, if my opponent never played the Iono this turn, then they were gonna not leave me in a good, like, they were never gonna win this game, because Regigigas could just come in afterwards and take the knockout. So, like, not the most well-played game on either of our parts, especially because my opponent was emoting me the entire time we were playing. But, you know, that's besides the point. I could just go ahead and retreat here and take my knockout with the Regigigas. Perhaps my opponent decided to try to attack with the Eevee because they didn't want their Jolteon weakened and they thought I couldn't get the knockout there. But, you know, with the Crispin, I was able to just get the extra energy ramped on. And then here we start with Cornerstone, which is actually like a really good start for me, especially when I'm holding on to the rescue board. This is the type of start I really want to see, and I'm just going to immediately play all my items here since I know that I'm going to get item lock next turn probably. There's a chance you can like TM Evo into something, but I don't even know what I'm playing against yet. I just see a Bloodmoon and Budew, and start like putting down the Bloodmoon is like kind of whack. But I guess this is just to play around like, I don't know, Iron Valiant or some other like turn 1 pain. I can't really think of anything that would like pain this early and kill a Budew on the first turn of the game. But, oh, maybe it's just like because of Petrarut. That's probably what it is. You're trying to dodge like Petrarut, Brute Bonnet type of stuff. And so we're gonna get item block, my opponent puts out Monkey Dory, and there's a Psychic Energy. So I'm a little lost about what's going on. But regardless, because I had both the evolutions in my hand already, I am in a good spot, I think. I go ahead and grab the Lumineon for next turn since my hand isn't really doing much otherwise. And I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, take it slow here. My opponent hasn't presented anything that's super threatening to me yet. So I'm just like, okay, well this is a good spot. And I finally see the Snow and I'm getting just a glimpse about what's happening. So the Bloodmoon is here to like soak up damage for the Frostlass so you can move it off the Monkey Dory, I guess. I don't think it's super necessary, but, you know, it's not my deck. That's all I'm going to say. But I still look to be in a pretty good position here because I have both my attackers ready to attack next turn. And as long as my Crispin is in the deck, which I don't remember if I checked or not, I probably should have, but my Lumineon could just go ahead and grab the Crispin, and I can get the energy out of my deck. I could also possibly grab Iono, and Iono is probably not a bad call, seeing as we have 8 energies in the deck. But I'd rather just guarantee my attack, and I even top deck the Radiant Greninja off the top, which makes me like even more inclined to use the Crispin, because I'm going to be able to, you know, hopefully draw myself out of the situation anyways, and then the Earthen Vessel next turn should hopefully be able to get me out of the situation. I'm going to go ahead and just attach to the Greninja this turn. I don't have enough energies in this card to work using the Garchomp, and using Shinobi Blade to search out cards on my deck seems very powerful. I go ahead and grab the Tera Crystal here, which might seem a little bit weird because it's like, why don't you just grab the Arven? I think the partial reason for this is that if my opponent Ionos me, I'd rather have a higher chance of drawing to Arven than I would Tera Crystal. But I am perfectly fine just having Tera Crystal as my only play next turn, because I could go Earthen Vessel into Tera Crystal and do my Barrage attack. And I'd be pretty happy with that. My opponent counter catches the Ogerpon Teal Mask here, which I'm a little confused by. Perhaps he... yeah, I have no clue. Maybe he's trying to knock it out or something. but I have a recipe board, so he's gonna have to fix that mistake. He also grabs the unfair stamp, which is on like, I haven't been seeing a lot of unfair stamp, but unfair stamp is a good card. You know, especially when your opponent doesn't have anything to explode against it. And a lot of people are playing like this Lumineon Fezandipiti package, as opposed to any other consistency engine besides maybe a Pidgeot. But even Pidgeot has a hard time grabbing you out of these unfair stamp situations. So it is a rough place to be in. That said, my opponent did boss up, or counter catcher up my Teal'c, or not Teal'c, Cornerstone, only to send me back into my Greninja. I definitely wasted a bit of resources there. I think he just had a a brain fart there, but it's fine. And now I'm just like not in a great spot. I'm gonna go ahead and Buddy Poffin out another Pokemon. I'm trying to think of what I need, and I don't think this is really gonna be a Garchomp game. I kind of want it to be a Garchomp game, but like Greninja's so good, right? And now slowly, all this stuff is gonna be ticking down onto my opponent's side of the field, and it's really rough. My opponent's gonna Adrenaline Brain to my Garchomp here, which I'm not even entirely sure if this is the right play. I think I would definitely be putting damage onto like the Lumineon or the Greninja, or not the Greninja EX, but the Radiant Greninja, to try and get myself out of the situation. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and grab the Forest Sealstone here, just because like I'm not entirely sure what I want, but I'm gonna grab 2 Fighting Energies and start discarding them in case I decide I need to attack with the Garchomp here. And, you know, I think there's a reasonable chance that I do, because I could power up a bunch of energies onto my Greninja EX and get it ready to attack. I'm going to go ahead and take the knockout onto the Bloodmoon though, secure myself 2 prizes, and try to see what else I need. I think grabbing I was thinking about grabbing Earthen Vessel, because I like the extra card draw it gives me, but instead I go ahead and grab the Arven, because at this point I'm not like too afraid of Iono. My opponent has 1 card in their hand. They didn't play a supporter last turn, I think. So we just seem to be in a good spot. Oh no, they did. They played the Arven to get the unfair step in the counter game. I forgot. Anyways, I'm sitting here, and I think I'm fine. Because I think a Zelf is something akin to like... Oh, what's a good example? Have we had an attacker like this? I can't think of a recently good attacker. But that does 700 damage. I'm like, what just happened to me? What? The reason is that Zelf is not all damage on that Pokemon, it's all damage on all your side of the field, and so I got a little jump scared by that. I was not ready for that. So oops. I'm gonna go ahead and play my Arven here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Rare Candy and the Sparkling Crystal, because at this point, I'm just trying to set myself up to win next turn with next turn, but soon with the Greninja. And I think being able to do the snipe attack seems really good. Also, go ahead and just drop an energy onto one of my Pokemon here. I think the Greninja is going, or the Radiant Greninja is going to go down really quickly. So I end up not putting the energy on it. I put the energy on my Lumineon. That way it can help retreat. I don't think there's really an argument to be made for having 3 energies on the Greninja EX. It just doesn't seem that necessary. And now I'm like, I'm getting really close to my timer here. But I do have my Greninja ready to attack. As long as he can't boss it up and knock it out, which he doesn't have anything that can. I'm in a good position. That's it. He puts out the Manaphy, which sucks. And that would normally suck if I didn't have Canceling Cologne, which is super, super nice for me. I didn't think I was actually going to be able to do anything with Canceling Cologne. If anything, I thought like maybe I'd take down a Mimikyu, but I have Boss and Canceling Cologne, so I'm able to just take out 2 prizes here with my Barrage and secure the game. Just showing how you can out-tempo your opponent. And if your opponent is playing a lot of those, like, Frost BS, like, Garchomp and Greninja are really unaffected by it, which is so nice. The fact that they don't have abilities, instead just have, like, 2 useful lines of text on them, is kinda good. Also means you're not getting hit by Cornerstone. That said, I haven't seen a lot of Cornerstones. My opponent does see, like, all my, Garchomp side of the mulligans there with all the fighting energies and the Gibbles, so I think they might be a little bit shocked if they ever see the Greninja come out. My opponent ends up attaching Shiver and Chilling, which in my head is a sign that he's getting ready to pass the turn, because I don't think you would do those things in that order. I think typically you would search out your Pokemon first, but could be something else. I go ahead and just grab my full line here. I don't think I need double Gible, but I'm a little bit scared of Radiant Greninja, and so I'd rather just have extra security in my Pokemon line here. I go ahead and Arven, I'm just going to grab the TM Evo, as well as an Earthen Vessel. I think I'm grabbing the Earthen Vessel so I can possibly attack with with Garchomp as early as possible. I want to start trying to ramp a few energies, and that's my thought process. My TM evolution is gonna spare me here. Of course, he could still like boss up and discard both his energies and knock something out, but it is going to allow me to reliably evolve into each of these Pokemon next turn. And my opponent also Buddy Poffins for a Pidgey and a Frigibax, which I definitely think is a misplay. And he also Iridas for Rare Candy and Bax, which is definitely like super optimistic, right? I don't think my opponent is playing this game super well at this point, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and conceal cards, the Water Energy away, which might be a bit of a mistake, but in my head I'm like, okay, I really want to attack with the Garchomp this turn, and then I just like don't do that. I evolve, and I'm like, oh, what am I doing? So I grab the Tera Orb, the Rescue Board, or the Sparkly Crystal, my bad. And the reason for this is so I can. What am I doing? Oh, you know what? I'm stupid. So the whole reason I like set this turn up the way it did, or was trying to, was I really wanted to Barrage this turn, but I'm stupid. So instead I have to grab the Tera Crystal and do the Snipe attack on the Garchomp, which is fine. I didn't talk about that attack too much, but it allows you to discard 2 energy from this, and it's a double colorless, and to do 100 Snipe to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It's like mini Barrage, but it's way cheaper to get. So with just a Tera Crystal, you can automatically charge this attack up every turn. My opponent sets down a Radiant Greninja, which I'm like, why at this point? I'm so lost. So, you know, my opponent's not setting up enough Frigibaxes. I'm messing up how I'm gonna get my attack out. It's all good, whatever. My opponent ends up only getting 1 Frigibax down this turn, and I don't have another energy in my hand, but I do have the boss. So I am just gonna go ahead and boss up the. Oh, I also get to evolve my other Garchomp. That's cool. I'm just gonna go ahead, boss up the Frigibax, prevent it from doing anything again, and just charge up a bunch of energies on my side of the field. I think there's an argument to be made that you should probably put all 3 energies on the Greninja EX. I've already used my Tera Crystal, so I'm not being saved that extra attachment, and this would allow me to more consistent Barrage, but alas. But I do have the Earthen Vessel and the Night Stretcher in my hand now, so I'm really not too afraid. And as long as, like, yeah, well, he can kill the fence, it's fine, it's whatever. But yeah, you know, I'm just gonna spoil it here, but my opponent's not gonna be playing the rest of this game out. My opponent's gonna see Greninja ready. He's gonna be like, yeah, it's fucking over. I'm not winning this game. He's just bullied by Thanes all game. Also ignored the Deluxe Bomb. I don't know what the hell my opponent was cooking. It was, yeah, like I said, spoilers, he concedes. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment down below, subscribe, all the cool stuff, and I'll see you guys later.